think I'm being hunted by something. I do what I usually do when I'm really nervous. I open up a bag of Whole Foods tortilla corn chips, and I start eating them, desperately and unconsciously. I heard a twig snap. Was that the crunch of a chip? I think not. I twist my head. I catch a glimpse of white hair and the whiff of strong perfume. Remember my elementary school mentor, Mrs. Gilman, the sweet elderly woman in the 1960s? Well, 40 years later, in 2006, she came back. She was now a zombie. Well, metaphorically speaking, she was a zombie. And she brought her friends with her, too, a veritable army of new mentors searching for me. Now, to understand how mentors were searching for me, I want to go back to 1995. Rachel and I were attending our first week-long Unitarian church camp at CBEC, and we were introduced to a man named James Ford, who was teaching courses on Zen Buddhism. Rachel was very interested in Zen Buddhism, and she sought out his teacher, John Tarrant, who was friends with a man named Stephen Mitchell, who was married to a woman named Byron Katie, who was traveling the world teaching something called The Work. Now, Rachel came home from one of those workshops with a book that would change my life. Some of you know what the book is, and I'm sensing eye rolling from that corner of the room. The book was Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Now, as I read the first words of that book, I started having a physical response. Warmth in my chest, tears in my eyes. I had had physical responses like that in the past, but they were when I was falling in love with people. But now I was having them with a book. I needed to check this out, so I signed up and went to a 3-day retreat with Byron Katie at Esalen, a place that Elizabeth Targ had introduced me to 20 years earlier. So picture this. I'm sitting on the grass outside of a building at Esalen, waiting for Katie's arrival. I seem to have gotten here, not by a series of unfortunate events, but by a series of rather miraculous coincidences. They started with the teenage Fabio Jr. problem, which led to college interest in mysticism, which led to infatuation with Elizabeth Targ, which led to marriage to Rachel, which led to children, which led to the Unitarians, which led to CBEC, which led to James Ford, which led to John Tarrant, which led to that book by Byron Katie, which led to me sitting on the grass above the Pacific Ocean, waiting for Katie's arrival, carrying a message to say hi to her from John Tarrant via Rachel. So, Katie comes walking by, and I introduce myself, and I give her the simple message. John Tarrant says hi. She thanks me and then goes inside to conduct the workshop. I'm standing out here, and I'm having that physical response again. Warmth in my chest, tears in my eyes, and I'm getting it really strongly. I'm knowing in every cell in my body that I've just met an enlightened being, someone who's like those wise masters who had written the books I was reading back in Professor Gohegan's class. I just received unconditional love, and it is electric. I'm knowing that whatever Katie knows, I want to know it. So I go inside and I start my exploration in the work, which would give me a reason to live and a life I didn't even know was possible. Now, around the same time that my mind was getting remodeled by the work, another mentor found me, the Body Electric School and its incredible teachers. Now, even though the Byron Katie material had helped me to become more comfortable with being divorced and gay, I was still lagging behind. Can you believe it? Still lagging behind. Other guys who had come out in their 40s dived enthusiastically into the pleasures of their new life. Not me. I was not comfortable with the prospect of sleeping with men. This was a dilemma. I mentioned it one day to one of my colleagues at work. I know it's strange to talk to colleagues at work that way, but I do. And he said, well, you know, Rich, I've heard that the Body Electric School does amazing work helping people to enjoy physical pleasure. As I was leaving his office, I thought I heard him mutter a word, Dayenu. I turned around to look, but he was buried in emails. Hint number 1, Dayenu? Maybe I should try the Body Electric School? Nah. Then a week later, I'm at church here, and I run into this guy in the little hall out there, and I mention my dilemma to him, and he says, well, you know, Rich, I have heard that the Body Electric School does amazing work helping people to enjoy physical pleasure. What a coincidence. Hint number 2, Dayenu, maybe I should try the Body Electric School? Nah. Then, a week later, I'm at a friend's house at a party, and I'm introduced to a guy, and I'm doing my usual social networking. Oh, so what do you do for a living? And I receive an unusual answer. Oh, I teach for the Body Electric School, and by the way, we do amazing work helping people to enjoy physical pleasure. And by the way, Rich, Dayenu. Okay, enough, I get it. So I signed up for a Body Electric course. Now, notice only 3 hints. I was way ahead of my Jewish ancestors. Now, the details of my Body Electric experiences will have to wait for my second HBO series, Late Night. In the meantime, I can say that those experiences taught me to find the deepest joy in this physical body. And around the same time that Byron Katie found me in the Body Electric School, another mentor found me. This place, the Center for Spiritual Living. Now, it's not really surprising. Church is kind of a place where people go for comfort when they're upset, and I needed all of the comforting I could get. Now, I had been attending Unitarian Church since coming to Seattle. I liked it there, but I wanted more than like. I wanted love. I wanted ecstatic joy, regardless of circumstances. It just came to me one day to give this place a try. I walked through those doors, and I'm seeing ecstatically joyful people. And when they pray, I'm getting chills instead of cynicism. So I started taking courses here. I learned how to pray too. And, you know, God was sidling up beside me again at that punch bowl, but instead of awkward, fidgety silence, we were flirting and getting to know each other. I had always seen myself as the hunter. I'm the guy who goes out to get what I need. No one else is going to do it for me. It turns out, though, that I was the hunted. Creepy. But, you know, Mrs. Gilman and her allies were not chasing me to kill me. They were chasing me to give me something. And they weren't the only ones. I'm going to name my 3rd HBO series, The Searchers for Richard Snyder. Each episode will recount how everyone here, and so many outside of this room too, have chased after me to give me exactly what I needed. And after 10 lucrative and successful seasons, it will be made clear that the big Dayenu hint of the whole series was the message, Richard, love thyself. What a concept. I had heard it before. I had always avoided looking in here for love and joy. What was I going to find in here that would be as good as a soulmate or a powder ski day? But it's my 50th birthday celebration, and with that comes privilege. So, with the help of a little PowerPoint, I am going to do some self-loving work with all of you as my witnesses. For those of you who get squirmy when I'm at my most narcissistic, I have 2 words for you. Too bad. Fasten your seatbelts. This ride is about to begin.